on points difference, but Sheffield and Dewsbury are being pulled in a little bit into this relegation battle. So whilst a while back it felt like Swinton and Rochdale were nailed on for the relegation, a couple of games against each other and a bit of form being picked up by the Lions, and things are getting tasty there for those spots as well before we get to the split, and then it's
particularly when they play each other again, isn't there? Yeah, exactly, this is the thing. It'll come down to those, because as you say, even Dewsbury they're not safe in that way at all. No.
At all. Okay. League One, it was round 12, and we had the battle of the bottom. West Wales 12, Hemel 48 it finished, so the Stags got off the 0.
Off the duck egg, yeah.
I don't think it was a game review, I think it was more
a comment. Yes, so Bruiser says, God damn it, Wales, I wanted Hemel to finish bottom.
I mean, they still might, but it's an awful point swing to turn around as well if winning the return fixture. It was London 30, Hunslet 37. I think the Scholars were ahead around half time in this one, but Hunslet pulled it out of the bag, unfortunately for the Scholars. It was Bradford 50, North Wales 12 in Saturday afternoon Facebook game, weren't it?
It was.
Didn't catch any of this one at all, but Brian Davies did. He said nice and comfortable for the Bulls in the first half. An early second half sin bin didn't help Crusaders, but once they got back to 13, they finally scored a couple of tries. Decent crowd of over 3,000 shows that the Bulls could be a force again if they do it right. And I read out that fan review because I thought you might have something to say yourself on the game.
Just that it was kind of comfortable, really.
Did anyone stand out? Is there anyone looking in real top form for the Bulls?
Well, Dane Chisholm is quality. He's probably, he should be playing a division above, really. So, he pulled us around the park, kicked well. And, we had him killed off at half-time, really. The intensity dropped from our point of view in the second half. We just didn't push on. And this is what we seem to be doing this year.
At half-time, weren't it? So
we seem to be... We're doing enough to win, but when we're getting to 20 ahead, 30 ahead, we're switching off. Whereas like last year, Toronto just didn't do that. They were putting big scores on teams, and we're not doing that. I mean, North Wales are, I'm not disparaging them. They're a decent team, but yeah, we were comfortably the better side, as you'd expect, and particularly at home. But yeah, it was.
Dane Chisholm
right.
retaining the goal kicking duties despite Joe Keys being back fully fit. That was an interesting call, because Keys was going great in the first half of the year, but then Chisholm basically got to bang in 1 million goals against West Wales and was kicking them from all over, weren't he? So he's retained that. Wellington Albert was on dual reg for Crusaders. Did he make any sort of impact at all for them?
Not really. Obviously they were keen to mention him, and he did all right. But yeah, we were comfortably better than North Wales. But yeah, and another 2 points on the board, and we move on.
Fair enough, and we move on to York 40, Workington 8 in their Pride game. Another big crowd that York were able to draw over 1,300 to that one with some good promotion. Newcastle 30, Whitehaven 22 in what we'd picked out as the game of the week, and it pretty much delivered. Quite exciting there with that scoreline. Doncaster 29, Keighley was another exciting encounter. Coventry 0, Oldham 60 though. Bit one-sided here. Tim G Radio got in touch, hopefully before he got on the Smirnoff Ices in the post-game celebrations. Post-game socials.
Smirnoff Ice, that takes me back. But anyways, so Tim says, another tough day for the Bears. First 20 minutes were much improved defensively. However, we were too narrow in attack with the little ball we saw. Oldham executed well and deserved their points. The Ruffiad Spartans didn't stop singing all game and made a point of staying to clap the Bears players from the field. Looking forward to the game versus Bradford on the 30th of June and the fun day. Beer selection alone looks worth the trip. And I'll say to Tim, I am looking into it. I am hoping to get down to Cov, to the Big Butt, and see the game. So yeah, I'm just making arrangements as we speak. But yeah, hopefully I'll be there.
Good stuff. A bit of a co-host duo.
Co-host meetup, yeah.
Excellent. Well, all that means Bradford stay top. York are second, just 2 points behind them. Oldham are in third still. Doncaster and Hunslet follow that. In the playoff places. Keighley, Workington and Whitehaven, they're close on their heels chasing those playoff spots. Newcastle are ninth, they're the last team with realistic playoff hopes, you would think. North Wales and London Scholars had the rest. Coventry are joined on 1 win by Hemel. West Wales stay on 0. There was one game to report on in the Women's Super League. It was a dominant, brilliant, exciting performance from the only Wigan team that mattered this weekend. It was the Wigan Warriors women 50, York City Knights women 0. Gemma Walsh absolutely dominated the show. Captain fantastic, 4 tries in this one, and handing a few other tries as well. And my favourite, Becky Greenfield, was back in the lineup for the Warriors as well, which is good to say. She missed the cup game. She grabbed herself a try on her return, so that's all very good. Into game of the week. It was the Origin game 1. We'll rotate on these fan reviews because we've got plenty in. It was played at Melbourne Cricket Ground in front of a big crowd. Queensland came out on the losing end of things to New South Wales. It was 22-12 to the Blues. Do you want to start us with Karsten, possibly the only Queenslander that we heard from?
Yeah, so I'll get this in the review. It says, fucking cockroaches made most of their opportunities. We will hit back in game 2. Townsville boys Val and Margot with a good game and a great shot from GI on Little Turbo. We'll be back. And it says, Queenslander. There you go.
Phil Nadin said, this was a great start to the Origin series with both teams fielding new young players to set it up as a new era between these two sides. Both teams went at it from the start with big hits and strong tackling. Both sides had times where they dominated and also defended well. New South Wales went in at half-time in front, but this didn't last long as Queensland pulled a 12-8 lead, but the Blues fought back with 3 tries to win. Great attendance of 86,000.
Yep. So Paul O'Brien says, great game, a game with big hits and great tries. New South Wales deserved the victory after defending well early in the first half. Thought the referees handled the game well. Video referee, when used, didn't take ages, which was good, and minimal stoppages.
Yeah, that's what you get with the bunker. Shane Erin Elvis at Twill Magician, so one of our contributor friends from our sister podcast, shall we say, down under This Week in League. New South Wales Blues aren't looking back on the years of hurt, they are flying forward. In fact, Maloney's pass to Addo-Carr is the perfect embodiment of this.
So St David says, the best Origin game I've watched for years. Top quality rugby league, both sides giving everything. Massively helped by unfussy refereeing on and off the field. Tedesco had the game of his life.
And Lee Whitnell said, listen to breathless Aussie radio commentary on this game whilst pretending to work. Brilliant win for the Blues. They just need to remember what happened last year and not get too complacent.
So Rich Wilkinson says, what a great night.
He was our man on the ground for this one. He was
the man on the ground. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, men on the ground all over the world.
What a game to see. What a great night in arguably one of the top grounds in the world. The game didn't fail to deliver. Both teams, as always, gave it everything, but in the end, New South Wales' speed, power and class around the ruck was the difference, and the boys got the win. How good is Tedesco? Cook was also magic on debut. Roll on game 2.
Yeah, I think game 2 is in Sydney as well, isn't it? So
yeah, it is.
That'll be exciting. Tim G Radio we finished with. He says, one in a row. One team wanted to attack and play to its strengths. Bring it on home, New South Wales. I mean, this was the best Origin game probably for 3 years. I would say 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, because it was quite different to traditional kind of slug it out kind of games. You know, they've traditionally been quite attritional, haven't they, and tight. But this was quite different, and I enjoyed watching it, which is sometimes I don't really enjoy watching Origin, even though I feel like I should.
Yeah, I mean,
because they can be a bit dull and a bit grindy. But yeah, this was. Do
you think like a lot of new blood into the sides kind of helped that? A lot of young players, a lot of enthusiastic players, high on confidence players playing in the game as well, kind of all rolled into that kind of thing. And even though there weren't many mistakes made, there weren't a ton of mistakes made at all by either side. What I loved about this game, and I wish if players bought into normal matches like they buy into State of Origin in the NRL as well as in the Super League. Don't get, this isn't just a Super League criticism. The NRL league games can have the same feeling to it too. But if people bought into the spirit of it, like they buy into the spirit of this, not once did someone lay around trying to get a penalty. James Maloney kind of faked an injury a little bit in the last 5 minutes to buy a breather for his side, sort of, and that was the only thing that was a bit niggly at all in the whole game. It was full on intensity. There was the odd shot that would be called a high tackle in Super League, but none of them were malicious, nasty, over the line hits. They were just strong, robust hits that maybe slid up a bit into the face off the ball or off the shoulder. And everyone got up to play the ball, everyone got up to clear the ruck, and that was what led to an open and exciting and fast game as well. And it was just brilliant to watch. And if everyone bought into that instead of buying into trying to comp penalties or slow the game down or whatever that you see so often, both ways, teams with the ball and without the ball, if people bought into this, how they buy into State of Origin, our product would be the product that we all know it is, that we all feel it should be, and we all want it to be constantly. And that was what I came out of this match feeling like. Rugby League is so fucking brilliant when it's played in the truest of spirits of Rugby League. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. And obviously everything around it helps. All the kind of when you see it get the attention and the build. I know the build-up's a bit hyperbolic at times, but to get that kind of priority, it is a massive deal, and they treat it as a massive deal, and the players kind of respect it for that. And sometimes the product lets it down, but it definitely didn't this week. It was a brilliant game, and as I say, Tedesco was just
it was. Else. But on the other side, on Queensland side, Greg Inglis on debut as captain. So obviously not debut in Origin, but first game as captain. Some of the hits I've never seen him defend so ferociously as that. And he tried to attack with the same sort of attitude as well, but obviously he was in the side that didn't win as much of the collisions in the middle of the field, I think, and that helped get quick rucks for New South Wales. And when you got Tedesco off the back of that, and Damien Cook, who's a former sprint champion, junior sprint champion too, the absolute speed out of there was brilliant. Because I actually think Maloney wasn't great, I didn't think. I thought Munster had a good game. I thought Cleary had a good game. These two really young players in there and stuff. But I loved it. I thought it was a cracking game.
Yeah, it was, and it's refreshing to see it live up to the hype. So
the way like Latrell Mitchell celebrated his try shows just how much it means to these young players, and it was thrilling. It was thrilling stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll on game 2.
Roll on game 2 indeed. Okay, there was a full round of NRL fixtures as well, because hey, we can't go to fucking Denver, but we can fucking back up 2 days after the most intense game of the season so far. Fantastic stuff from the NRL, mind pool there. Anyway, round 14 started with the Raiders 22, the Panthers 23. Elliot Whitehead got a try and a try assist in this one. The Panthers had 4 players backing up from Origin. Phil Naden got in touch.
He did. So he said this game was an end-to-end affair, which was festooned with errors and penalties. Panthers took a good lead, scoring 2 tries early on, but by half-time it was all level, 8-all. Second half saw the Raiders take control, and at 20-8 looked all done. But the Panthers scored 2 tries in the last 14 minutes, and a drop goal sealed the win with 5 minutes left. Raiders had a last-minute attempt, but lost the ball on the Panthers 20. So yeah, it was a good game. I caught up with that one. It was a competitive fixture.
Good stuff. Following that on the Friday, it was Titans 16, who we're not going to be talking about anymore from a Brit View perspective. But Rabbitohs 18, who we will keep talking about, and George Burgess had 5 tackles and 132 metres. Sam Burgess, underlining why he's made his way back into the England side. Sam Burgess 161 metres, and Tom played 2. Didn't quite have the same impact of his 2 brothers in this one, but great form still from the Rabbitohs, rising up to 3rd in the table. It was the Sea Eagles 14, the Warriors 34, so the Warriors back on track. The Knights 16, the Roosters 18 in a tight one there. The Eels 20, the Cowboys 14. The Sharks 24, the West Tigers 16. So the decline for the West Tigers continues. It was the Storm 32, the Broncos 16, and then today's game, which rounded things off, finished the Bulldogs 16, the Dragons 18. James Graham had 3 successful offloads. Gareth Witt had a try assist, kicked a few goals too in that one to keep the Dragons up there on the top alongside the Panthers. I think it's the Rabbitohs and the Warriors who come next in the table. I didn't write down the standings. We had a few people in about some other games. A couple in from the French Cup final. The Coupe de France Lord Derby. It was a Saint-Estève Catalan against Limoux, or Limousin, or however you pronounce that. But do you want to take us through Alan's, and then I'll hit us up with Brian's, because Brian saw this one too.
We did, so yeah. So hard-fought golden try win against them Grizzlies. They had some big fellas for sure, and they practiced fighting real bears up in the mountains. But we had the brains from playmakers Lucas Albert, Johan Gouache, Louis Dufresne,